So tomorrow, not today, tomorrow night, I'm going to be participating in a sleep study. And this is because I have like maintenance insomnia, so that basically means that I can fall asleep fine, but I just wake up a lot and I have trouble falling back asleep. And so I wake up like 6 times a night, and so that makes me very, very exhausted, like at all times. So I'm basically going to a sleep study for them to watch me sleep to see if there's any like contributing factors to the insomnia, to make sure it's not like sleep apnea or whatever, and that I'm not like dying or anything. And so once they rule all that stuff out, they basically just teach me how to sleep better and how to stay asleep better. So that's pretty exciting. I'm excited for it, but I'm also like, I don't know how I feel about it, because it's gonna be like a bunch of random people watching me sleep and hooking up like a bunch of wires to me, like all across my head, across like my back and my chest and probably my legs. I have no idea, but I watched like a video of them, like how they set the people up, and it looks a little robotic. So that I don't know how I'm gonna sleep like that, but I mean, if I don't sleep well anyway, like what's the difference? And it's gonna be a fun experience. So I thought I would invite you to come along with me and basically come to my sleep study with me. So when it comes to sleep studies, if you've never had one, you're probably wondering like, what on earth do you bring to a sleep study? And that's what I'm about to do. I'm actually just about to pack for my sleep study, and they called me this morning. They're like, "Hi, Leanna, we're calling you like to make sure you don't have the pandemic." And then I'm like, "Nope, I don't have the pandemic." And they're like, "Okay, cool." So after that, they were like, "So here's a list of things you're not allowed to bring to the sleep study," which is actually, I was surprised by it. Basically, you're not allowed to bring any pillows, any blankets, any stuffed animals, which you can see behind me is terribly disappointing to me because I love my stuffed friends over there. So it's gonna be really weird to sleep like without all of that stuff. Of course they're gonna give like pillows and blankets, but I feel like their pillows and blankets and even their bed, it's gonna be like a hard, gross hospital bed, and I feel like the blankets are gonna be like a tiny little sheet. So I have come prepared, which you'll see in a second when I decide to go and pack and get my stuff ready. But yeah, you're not allowed to bring any of that. So what you are allowed to bring is something to read if you would like. This is optional, which is like a book or a magazine. Of course, you're allowed to bring your phone with you. You're allowed to bring pajamas, of course. They don't recommend you don't bring pajamas because they're gonna be watching you and sticking stuff on you. So you should wear clothes is basically the verdict of that. And if you take any medication, like they say you're supposed to bring that as well, because you're going to be there overnight, and then of course you wake up in the morning. So if you take it at night or in the morning, they recommend that you bring that like with you. So that's all the stuff you're allowed to bring with you and the stuff you're not allowed to bring with you. So let's get packing. So I am bringing this pair of pajama pants with cute turtles on them. Some nice fuzzy socks. I don't actually sleep with socks, but I don't own slippers, so I'm just gonna wear these if I have to like walk around and do stuff. I am gonna bring a hair tie because I don't really want to pack a hairbrush because my hairbrush is disgusting. So I'm just gonna put my hair like up after I wake up, and that will hide any of the messiness and make it look like cool. This is actually just like my chewy aligner case thing. I'm gonna put my earrings in this because I always have my earrings in and I just take them off before bed and I don't want to lose them, so I'm just gonna put this cute little container. Got my glasses container that obviously my glasses are gonna go in, so I'm gonna go there with my glasses on and just put them in this little container, and not my contact lenses. I got like a short sleeved shirt that I'm going to wear with my pajamas, and then if it's too cold in there, because I have no idea what the temperature is gonna be like, I have my glorious, if I can unflip it, my NaNoWriMo sweater that I'm going to wear, and it is very soft. And then to read, I have the Count of Monte Cristo, so I'm probably going to read that before bed because I like to read before I go to bed and not use my phone because that makes me unable to fall asleep. And then I'm just wearing like a pair of black shorts right now, but I'm not going to show because it's like creeps on the internet. But I'm also going to bring those because I don't know what the temperature is going to be like there. So I'm just going to wear the shorts and then put these over top. And then if it's too hot, I'll just take these off. Because again, I don't know if it's going to be hot or cold in there because it's like some basement. Alright, so I'm outside of the sleep place and I have to like buzz in for them to let me in with this like buzzer thing, and then I'm able to go into wherever I'm supposed to go. My appointment is at 9:30 p.m. It's 9:17 right now and I'm so tired. I go to bed at 9 p.m. all the time, so I'm just like so ready to sleep. But I'm waiting here a little bit and then I'm going to buzz and then I'm going to be able to go on my sleep study and sleep. It honestly smells like a huge foot in here. This is so gross. Good morning. I am back from, well, I'm not back. I'm actually just like waiting for my Uber to go home and then I can go back to sleep because I'm tired. But yeah, I'll talk more about my sleep study after I go home and have a nice rest, a wireless rest. All right, so I am all rested and I've showered, so my hair isn't disgusting anymore. There's like no weird gooey stuff in it. So I'm gonna give you the rundown of what the sleep study was like. So I was able to record a little bit like when I got there, but I'm gonna explain a little bit more. The first thing that I want to talk about is that when I got into that like smelly elevator, and I went to like click down into like the basement floor, so there was like no reception. The elevator gets stuck for a second, like the doors, they like try to open and they go and they close, and I'm like, oh my goodness, am I gonna have to sleep in the elevator? So all I had to do was like hit the open button like a million times as I'm panicking, and then it opened and I like ran out of there. So yeah, I almost got eaten by an elevator and I was like, okay, this is a very scary first start, especially because I didn't have any cell reception like in the elevator, so I just would have been stuck there, I guess, just sleep there, I don't know. So I get there and they do like the standard stuff, like they go in, they ask me like pandemic questions, and then they weighed me, they measured my height, and I give them my health card so they could like write down my health card information, because I got free healthcare because I'm in Canada, so the sleep study was completely free, which was pretty good. So after that, they basically brought me over to like my room, and there were like 6 rooms there and they're all like this kind of like this shape, and then down that way was like a bathroom. And the guy was like, all right, like, so down there is the bathroom, in here is your room, and so like just change into your pajamas, like go to the bathroom, like relax, and then I'll come back and get you set up. And there was like a bunch of wires on the bed, and I'm like, this is very intimidating. And so went to the bathroom, changed into my pajamas, which is this that I'm wearing right now. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do next? Because I don't know if I was just tired or I misunderstood, but I thought I had to go find the guy. So I start walking around the building in my pajamas looking for the guy because I thought he wanted me to come get him when I was ready. And so I'm waiting behind, there's another worker there, and she was like helping somebody else. And I'm standing there in my pajamas, and she looks at me and goes, do you need help? I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. She's like, oh, you just like wait in your room. I'm like, oh, okay. So I leave, I go into the room, and I read my book for a little bit on their little chair, and then the guy like knocks, and he comes in and he's like, hi, and I'm like, hello, and he's like, all right, so it is now time to set you up for the sleep study. And I'm like, okay. So the first thing he does is he attaches like a belt fin, like right here and right here, and that's meant to like monitor my breathing. So it's able to tell like when I breathe, because like my stomach expands, then it goes down. So they had that one. He also put like 2 circles on my back to measure my heart. And then I also had this one thing that went on my finger, and it kind of was like glowing, and I think it was like to check a pulse or something, I'm not really too sure. And then the worst part is coming up, but not quite yet. This one, they put like all this really gross like gooey stuff in my hair to attach the wires, and it was disgusting. And I had like this ruler, and he was putting like all these red dots all over me, so he knew exactly where to put like the gooey stuff on my head. And then after that, the worst part was this really gross thing that will like go in my nose, not like up my nose, but like in my nose to like measure my breathing. And then there was like this little handy piece in front of it that would measure to see if I snored, which I do not snore, by the way. So after that, I was basically all ready to go. Like I had the whole get up on, and so went into the bed. And the weirdest part is that they tuck you in because they don't want you to mess up your wires. And he had like a bunch of tape. There was a bunch of tape all over me, and all the wires were kind of taped in, like, he called it like a ponytail, so all the wires were just coming out from behind me so they wouldn't like get in my way, which is pretty ideal, to be honest. And then I'm like, okay, it's time to go to bed. And I like close my eyes, and I'm like, okay, I need to go to bed. But I had to do a few tests first to make sure like everything was working. So the first test was, so the guy would leave, and then like close the door, turn off the light, and then I would have to do a series of tests. Some of them was like breathing, another one was like closing your eyes, or like blinking, or like having your eyes closed but like looking back and forth or up and down, stuff like that. And the funniest one was when they were like, all right, we need you to pretend to snore. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to pretend to snore. And I'm like, snoring, and he's like, okay, perfect. So he comes in, only one wire wasn't working, so he fixed it, and then left and said that like I can go to bed, or I can read, play on my phone, do whatever. So played on my phone for a little bit, and then I was exhausted because it was already way past my bedtime, because my appointment was at 9:30, and I didn't really get, like, by the time I was done getting set up and everything, it was like 10:22, and I'm like, okay, I need to go to bed. And it was so uncomfortable sleeping. Like, the bed, the bed wasn't crusty, so I'll give it that. But the pillows and blankets were like gross, crusty hospital pillows and blankets. And so I was like kind of grossed out. Like, they weren't gross by any means. It's just, I like those guys as pillows. So I'm like trying my best to sleep, and they would know how many times I would wake up, which is basically what the study is for anyway. And so I'm like, okay, sleeping, doing my thing, waking up, and I was so cold. In the middle of the night, I'm just like so cold, and I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom and stuff, and so I'm just like laying there like staring at the ceiling. I'm like, will I be able to fall back to sleep? But I knew because I was so cold I would not be able to fall back asleep without another blanket, so I had to, like, there was like a buzzer that you press, and it's like, and then like the person comes in and asks like, what do you need? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, like I have to go to the bathroom and I'm so cold. And they're like, oh, that's okay. So they went to get me a blanket. They had to undo some of the like wire things, and I had to like carry it with me while I went to the bathroom, and then carry it back, and then they like hooked it up and they tucked me in again with extra blankets, so extra blankets was really good. And yeah, so then I just kind of slept, woke up a couple of times, it was cold, all that good stuff. And then they came to wake me up at 6 a.m. and they like knocked, they opened the door, they're like, all right, it's time to set you free. And I'm like, woohoo! And I asked, like, because I'm curious, and I'm like, so, am I dying? And they're like, no, you're fine. Like, your breathing is good, so like I don't have sleep apnea, so there's, I guess, another reason why I wake up so much, and I'll find out in December, because that's when the specialist is supposed to call me to like talk to me about my sleep study results. But he did tell me that apparently I'm a really twisty sleeper, and he said it's fine because like I don't have, he asked if I had like chronic pain. I'm like, no, like I'm fine. He's like, okay, then like you're good. It's just kind of funny how twisty you were. Yeah, so apparently my neck is like twisted one way, my legs are the other, my body's the whole other way, and he said that it looked really weird. So apparently I'm a really twisty sleeper, but I don't have chronic pain or anything like that, so I'm just a twisty sleeper. There's like no reason for it. So that's pretty much like my experience with the sleep study. It was kind of cool. Like, I like the experience of it. I don't think I'd ever want to do it again because like it's kind of gross, and it's just the hair, like really it's that and like that gross thing up the nose, and then as soon as I put up my nose I started coughing because it was just so uncomfortable. But I look forward to like getting the sleep study results, and I hope you enjoy like just watching my little journey here, and now you know like what a sleep study is like and my experience with it. So hopefully you don't get like stuck in an elevator or anything, because I got stuck in an elevator and I thought I was gonna sleep. So yeah, with that, I'm gonna bid you a great rest of your morning, great rest of your evening, great rest of your night, great rest of your apocalypse, and if you're having a sleep study, great rest of your sleep study. Okay, bye!